Hello. Hello. Welcome to the House Medium. I'm Adele Levine, your house medium, and we are going to get into today's episode, which is the Lizzie Borden episode. Yes, all you horror fans, all you paranormal fans, this one's for you. But I'm the house medium. I'm Adele Levine. I always put a little different spin on it. Just think of me as the Mary Poppins of the paranormal world. I come in and I help and I take care of what most people think is bad seeds, or the spirits are no good, or their hauntings are known for being terrible. And I give you a little take on it, a little compassion. I give a spoonful of sugar, lets the medicine go down. The medicine go down. No, I'm not trying to sing. You get the idea. I try to give a little sugar to what people tend to think is scary and quote spooky and negative, and I humanize, I don't know, the humans that died. And since I am a medium and I've been doing this professionally for over 25 years, I have said this too many times, I am using my sight. So I just want to remind people, this is not an opinion. This is not my intuition. This is not a hunch. This isn't a idea. This is my mediumship skills that I have honed for over 20 years, over 25 years. I have written a book. I have this podcast. I have thousands of clients I have read for. I have done clearings. I've gone to haunted places. I'm very well versed in this world, in the paranormal world, but I give a different spin on it, if you will. Now, we don't have any, I did have something. Oh, we do have something to talk about, and that is the Gilded Age. The show, The Gilded Age. I have a beef with the show, The Gilded Age. We went into the Medium Brew Cafe to talk about this, and here's my beef. I was thinking, oh, the Gilded Age is being so cool. They're bringing a medium on, and the medium is being legit and helping her. Wrong. The Gilded Age threw us mediums under the bus like every show ever does. They always want to show us as bad people every time. They have the same trope over and over and over in every show. I challenge any writer out there who's doing a reality show or a TV show, do you want the real thing? Do you guys just know? Or you just, let's just say, you don't believe in it? Now, to be fair, the Gilded Age did show a medium of that time, and mediums of that time were, let's be fair, scamming everyone and faking. But there were legit readers. But they'll never show that because that's no fun. So, of course, she got her comfort that she needed. And then she immediately realized that she was getting scammed. So, you know what, Gilded Age? I still love you. I still love the show. But, everybody does us mediums dirty. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. And with that said, there was something else I wanted to share with everyone. I guess just real quick, and we're going to get into this episode. And you can skip this part on YouTube. I know some of YouTube people, I get it. I do it all the time. This is Patreon people. I just want to let you know that your meditation is up for the Sacred Scholar. Your speed readings are up for the month of August, and your monthly, energy climate is up. And next will be a class, and it's probably going to be remote viewing part. Okay. And this is for people on my Patreon. I have a library of classes that people could choose from, meditations. Everyone on there gets to know each other, helps each other, talks to each other. I love it. And my mentors, the people, mentees that I mentor, get to know each other and talk to each other. And it's my favorite thing I do. I've been doing so many mentorships. And that is all I want to say. That's 4 minutes of your time. And I've been meaning to tell you, I've been meaning to tell you about the Gilded Age. I did it. Let's go out of the Medium Brew Cafe and let's get on with this story, shall we? All right. This is the Lizzie Borden story. No, okay. You ready? So let's start from the beginning, shall we? So this is how it's going to go. Everybody needs to know. I'm going to give you the story. I'm going to read you the story. Hold on. I don't like the lighting that my phone that I read off of is giving me. Oops. Why did it take me to Ring? I didn't want to go to my Ring. Is there somebody there? Is it Lizzie? Lizzie? Are you there? Is it you? Why did I have an English accent? I don't know. I think because I'm being like that fake meeting. Are you there? Are you trying to talk to me? Oh, funny enough, suddenly my Ring won't load. It's, what do you want to say to me? Tap 3 times. Oh, she's talking to me. Actually, my Ring is suddenly not loading, which is interesting, but not interesting enough. Anyway, it's just actually a kid playing. Okay. So, but it won't load. Okay. I'm going to go to the story. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Come on, Lizzie. You're distracting me. Okay. Hold on. I need to put it on dark mode. Dark mode for the darkness. Suddenly we're an English accent. Okay, the Lizzie Borden story, what we're going to do is we're going to read the story. I'm going to tell you the story and all of that. We're going to get into it. And then I'm going to tell you about all the different things that the quote ghost hunters, people hunter is what I'm calling it because these are people who died, and the experiences they had in the Lizzie Borden house. And then I'm going to tell you Adela Levine, the house medium, and what I see that went on. I don't think it's going to be like that much of a shocker to you guys, but maybe not. I don't know. But here we go. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. We all know the rhyme. It's eerie, sing-songy, and unforgettable, but the truth, it's more complicated and even more disturbing today. We're stepping back into 1892 to a quiet street in the Fall River, Massachusetts, where one of the most infamous unsolved murders in American history took place. Well, I'm just going to pause right here. 1892. Are we not shocked that it's unsolved? I mean, you guys got to realize that crime in those times, you could get away with anything. You could do something to someone and they're like, well, I don't know. And their footprints, the police are stepping all over. They weren't like exactly taping things off and dusting. I mean, it wasn't very careful. People got away with a lot of crimes in those times. So the fact that it's unsolved is not shocking to me. The Borden home was no mansion. Oh, sorry. Did I say? Oh, yeah, I did. The Borden home was no mansion. Despite being a wealthy man, Andrew Borden lived frugally, and so frugally, so he was cheap. Let's just call it what it is. Cheap. I'll just say cheap. That the house had no indoor plumbing. What? Which was unusual for the class at the time. No indoor plumbing. Okay, I get it. A lot of people didn't have indoor plumbing, but he had money. So he was not, I was right. He was cheap. He wasn't just frugal. Frugal is like, hey, listen, we're not going to buy toilet paper. We're going to buy, I don't know, whatever they did. Did they have toilet paper? People have toilet paper? I don't think so. Anyway, this guy was cheap, okay? Kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's my vibe on that. Which wasn't unusual for the class at the time. Instead, inside lit was unusual. Okay. Inside lived Andrew, his second wife, Abby, his 2 adult daughters, Lizzie and Emma, and their maid, Bridget Sullivan. Okay, so there was him, and he got married. He has a second wife and his 2 daughters. Okay, Lizzie and Emma. And then the maid. Emma was away visiting friends when it all happened, but Lizzie was home. The family dynamic was tense. Lizzie and her sister reportedly despised their stepmother. Now, so this is the case of the evil stepmother. I'm just saying it. They didn't like her. I don't get a sense that, well, I'll save it. But let's just say they did not like their stepmother. Obviously, referring to her as Mrs. Borden. So they didn't call her like mom, stepmom. They didn't even call her by her first name. And resenting her presence in the home. They believed she was only after their father's money. Andrew himself was known to be strict and cold. Well, the man didn't put indoor plumbing when he had money. I'm not saying that the indoor plumbing is the big factor here, but it gives you a little insight to probably how he thought about things and people, and probably how he thought about parenting. Not exactly beloved by his daughters either. Okay, so we're setting the scene. Stepmom, evil stepmom, so it's not like a Disney story where it's like the evil stepmom and the beloved father. It's not like Snow White. It's not like Cinderella or whatever. It's not like these stories where and Cinderella doesn't have an evil stepmom, but you get what I'm saying. It's not like a Disney story where there's the evil stepmom and the beloved father, and then the father dies, and all of that. None of that. This is like they didn't like either one of them. Both of them were no good. Okay. Then came the morning of August 4th. Now, see, this is going to be airing on August 7th, and I had this idea about August 5th. So we're right around the time. You ready? Sometime before 9 a.m., Abby Borden was struck repeatedly, at least 18 times, with a hatchet while she was in the guest bedroom upstairs. Her skull was crushed. Hours later, Andrew returned home from his morning walk and lay down for a nap on the sitting room couch. While he rested, someone came up behind him and delivered 10 brutal blows to his face, leaving him unrecognizable. All right, it is brutal. It is very brutal. And I need to drink water. I don't love crime stories, but this is an old story, so it kind of feels more like a ghost story, I guess. Even though I don't think she's a ghost. Those of you who don't know me, to remind you, ghosts to me are spirits that don't know they died, and spirits do know they died, and they know what's going on and what they're doing and any havoc they're causing into people's homes or whatnot. Okay, Lizzie claims she was in the barn looking for fishing sinkers during the time of the murders. Lizzie, really? Come on, Lizzie. She's like, I don't know. I was looking for things to fish. And I'm guessing fishing sinkers are like hooks, I guess. I don't know. But either way, she's just claiming innocence. I don't know. I just get I'm not going to keep saying her name because I get a weird feeling every time I do. I'm your friend. Calm down, girl. Okay. I get it. Bridget the maid, I'm going to explain what I already see with this when I'm done with this part. Well, then we have the hauntings we have to get through too. So Lizzie claimed that she was in the barn looking for fishing sinkers during the time of the murders. Bridget the maid said she was upstairs resting. Everybody's resting. Still sick from cleaning windows in the summer heat. Well, I don't blame you, Bridget. Damn. Probably because this guy, you want to bet he didn't even spring for proper cleaning equipment. That's my feeling, I bet. And I bet he treated the maid very bad. That's my read. And yet, no one heard the screams. No one saw the killer. No one ran from the house. Police questioned Lizzie almost immediately, and her story kept changing. She said she was in the barn, then she said she was in the house. She mentioned hearing a groan and then took it back. Oh, I was in the barn. I was in the Wait a minute, I think I heard someone groan. I don't know. But you have to remember, like, questioning people in those days. Ooh, I get like a weird feeling again. Remember, I'm your friend. Chill out, girl. Um, you have to remember, like, in those days, like, quizzing people, like, interrogating people was even not to par to what we're used to today. And then took it back, and then just days later, she burned a dress in the kitchen stove, saying it had paint on it. She's like, listen, it had a little red paint. It had some red paint on it. What's the problem, everybody? Don't you burn your dresses after you get paint on them? I mean, seems totes fine, is what she said. It's totes fine. It's fine. Despite everything pointing to her, everyone's pointing, you. No physical evidence tied her to the murders. Okay, so I mean, if it is her, it's not that hard to use the hatchet and wash it off, because again, crime scenes weren't that investigated that thoroughly. They were like, looks like there's no, weapon, there's no blood. What are we going to do? Not like today, we're like, this was moved and that was moved. And I mean, even people on TikTok are sleuths and they will solve crimes. There was no blood on her, no murder weapon with fingerprints, and nothing to definitely place her at the scene of either crime. Okay. She's like, you got nothing on me. I'm just trying to go fishing. Maybe not. And I just like to paint, sometimes with red paint. And then I burn my dresses. I mean, come on. Just a regular girl's day. Still, Lizzie was arrested and stood trial in 1893. It was a media frenzy. I mean, a media frenzy then must have been way more interesting than today. We're talking those big cameras and big flash light bulbs. It's probably really expensive. They were covering this trial. You see how people don't change? Do you see that when people say, oh, everything's going to hell, or it's been the things going on forever, everyone, because human nature has the same thing. People were interested, they were intrigued. Newspapers from across the country followed every moment. The jury, made up of 12 men, because, women weren't on juries, because what do they know? Which tells you, like, it's weird for a woman to be on trial for a murder. And if men don't think women can even make a decision of anything legal sorts, can't have the brain, they definitely wouldn't think she'd be a mastermind of any crime, right? Just took over an hour to find out not guilty. Like, listen, she's a girl. She comes from a good family. They're rich. Her father was cheap. He was kind of a bastard. We get it, but I mean, she's a girl. And oh, by the way, she's a girl. Lizzie Borden's a girl. Oh, did we say one more thing? She's a woman. She can do this. That's what I see the conversation. They probably smoked some cigarettes, ate some food and said, all right, this was a cool little break of life. We were going to get a little famous for being on this jury, and then they were done. But Fall River never forgot. Never forgot. Lizzie and Emma inherited their father's fortune and moved to a larger home in town, naming it Maplecroft. They never spoke of the murders publicly, Emma eventually moved out and distanced herself from Lizzie entirely. Interesting. So they got the money, they moved out, and they're like, let's just start over. And then the sister decided to not talk to her anymore. Lizzie lived until 1927, dying at the age of 66. She never married, obviously. No one in that time is going to marry her. I mean, there are crazy enough people even in that time, but, you don't want to be, I almost married an axe murderer. I mean, it's understandable. And never escaped the shadow of suspicion, even today, over 130 years later, her name still sparks debate and curiosity. I mean, I get it. It was definitely a time where this would be radical idea that a woman of her stature, especially, you have to remember she's a wealthy white woman in the public's eye, even though her not her husband, her father was really cheap and her stepmother was an evil stepmother. People still are like, what's the problem? Like, you got to remember, people lived all kinds of horrible lives and existence at that time, and they're like, it seems like she has it pretty good. So, and also, again, she's a woman. Paranormal activity at the Lizzie Borden house. Okay, so there's been a lot of course, our ghost hunters, spirit hunters, people hunters, all the hunters and all the curious people have gone here. And so because of that, there's been, documented quote unquote activity. But I'm going to tell you and read you and give you a little fun sound effects to it. The original house at 92 2nd Street still stands and is now a bed and breakfast and museum. What? Now, I think someone bought it. I'm going to have to look up chat because I saw something about it being bought or something like that. But it's a bed and breakfast. People are strange to me. Okay, it's considered one of the most haunted locations in America and has been investigated by numerous paranormal teams, including, of course, ghost hunters, kindred spirits, and the Travel Channel. Notable hauntings and reports. Okay, so here's some notable apparitions. Guests and investigators have reported seeing a woman in Victorian clothing, often believed to be Abby Borden, especially near the guest bedroom where she was murdered. What do you mean where she was murdered? Oh, the wife. I had my brain on the girls. Oh, the stepmom. Okay. Shadow figures, sightings of shadowy figures moving through the rooms and hallways, particularly near the staircases. And of course, good old EVPs. Really not my favorite because I don't feel they're reliable at all. Ghost hunters have captured unexplained voices, including whispers and screams, and a female voice believed to be Lizzie saying, "Why?" or "I didn't do it." Really? So that's something. I mean, here's the thing that I know about the spirit world. They're not going to feel so inclined to convince you about themselves, but we'll get to that in a minute. Physical sensation, cold spots, sudden dizziness, or nausea near the murder sites. Some guests have reported being touched or tapped. Interesting. When no one else was around. So this is very common for spirits to touch or tap you. I always call it poked. It is something they do. Um, it doesn't bother me anymore because I get poked a lot, but I definitely can imagine in that setting it could probably be very unsettling for most people. But here we must go on. Objects moving, doors have opened and closed by themselves. A few guests claim to see rocking chairs moving with no one in them. I believe these types of things. I actually will, to be fair, believe that these things check boxes of what happens in the paranormal world, but I'm going to explain in a minute. Bridget's room, where the maid Bridget slept in, is considered the most active. It's interesting that the maid's room is the most active. People have heard footsteps. Yeah. So people are just like, I'm just going to go to a bed and breakfast at a famous murder site. And then they hear footsteps above them at night, even when no one was upstairs. That's very a checkbox too. This definitely checks boxes to me of typical paranormal activity. So I believe that as well. Andrew's death spot, the couch where Andrew was killed, is replicated in the museum. People who sit or stand near it often report heavy pressure or feelings of dread. It's hard to know. See, the problem with these types of things is that we don't know if people are being influenced by the story and they know what happened. I believe, like, when it comes to the reports of people feeling heavy and dizziness, I have a hard time knowing if it's self-inflicted or people are really feeling these things because people know the story. And oftentimes in the paranormal activity, you will, as a medium who has like clear spots and cleared locations and all this type of stuff, you will know if you step into a place, you'll know right away. You know what I mean? You'll, oh, I have a bad feeling here, I have dizziness, or I have feeling of dread, or all these things people are saying. You tend to know without any information. So it could be, I don't know. I'm not feeling that for sure. Many guests leave the home in the middle of the night have reported nightmares, sleep paralysis, or waking up to high sensation of being watched. Paranormal teams consistently rank it one of the most active places. Oh, that's interesting. What is this? So we have like a lot of interesting things going on. What do you guys feel? Are you feeling it? Are you getting in touch with the spirits? Okay, I think it's ready for me to tell you what I feel. So, immediately, what I felt is I do feel that, yes, the stepmother wasn't good to them. And I do feel they are right that the stepmom, wanted their father's money. I also feel the stepfather was not good to them at all and was horrible to the maid. And I'm going to look up these things in a minute to see if anyone else got these feelings too with chat. Um, I feel the maid was probably treated the worst, but I don't feel the maid had anything to do with it. However, this is what I feel happened. And I have looked up since my first initial hit on this, has there been theories of this since? And I guess there has. I feel both the sisters were in on it 100%. I feel both the sisters knew what they were going to do, and I do feel the maid knew about it. Absolutely. I feel like the maid knew about it and also had the same feelings. Now, do I feel the maid knew like all the things? No. The read I get on this is that the maid they kind of said to the maid, we have to like get our father, we have to get them out of here. They're horrible. They're treating us all terrible. You know, we're just women. That's why I keep saying the women thing, because I have a distinct feeling she had they both definitely had this horrible resentment and anger that their father constantly treated them like they were nothing because they were women. Um, and I definitely feel the maid was treated horrible. Obviously, she's the maid, but also she's a woman, but mostly to him, she was nothing. So I feel like he treated them all terrible. And so all the ladies had a problem with both of them. And I definitely feel the stepmother treated the maid the worst. So I feel like they didn't tell her their plan, but I feel like they said, don't worry, we're going to get rid of them. That's my feeling. I feel they all three were down with this. And I want to look up what happened to the maid, because I didn't look that up. That's the only thing I didn't look up. I feel like they helped the maid out. I don't think they gave her a ton of money, but I think they gave her a little something, something to kind of appease her and say, hey, you know, and I don't feel like she had any plans on saying anything. And they may even took her with them to their new house, but I do feel like they took care of her. And I feel the reason why the most activity is in the maid's room is because she's the only one no one has fully suspected as much, as in the sense like people, she might have been under suspect, like maybe she's the one who did it, because I did read that people do that. But I feel like the maid may even feel like, hey, you guys don't even know that I've like kind of helped them, because she was their main key witness. Like she's the main key witness to everything. If she said anything, they both would have went down. So I feel like she had a lot of power in this. And I do feel like the sisters were doing this together. My first feeling was that one did upstairs and one did downstairs, but according to ChatGPT, that in the Lizzie Borden story, is that the sister Emma was supposedly away, but it's also not verified. Like she doesn't have a verified alibi. And remember, this was a time where someone could just say, I was here, I was at the bar, and they may ask people a few things, but I feel like they just didn't really believe these two girls could do this, that they didn't have the physical strength. That's why I feel like they didn't count it at all. They were like, oh, these are girls, you know, they don't have that physical strength. And they were probably like, we're just girls, what do we know? And I think they played that up. I do feel like they didn't feel any remorse because they were abused. I also feel like the father did other things to them. I just feel like this whole situation was pretty messed up. And they looked at it like, let's get rid of him and we'll solve our problems. It was like a very classic story of, you know, it's almost like, it reminds me of like what Cinderella could be. You know what I mean? Like in a sense, like, you know, their mother died and now they're left with the evil stepmother, that type of thing, you know. And they were like, well, we're not going to be waiting for no prince. We're just going to take out everybody. And I feel like that's what happened. And that's what I see. And I'm really clear that I feel like Lizzie, if anything, gets very upset and irritated when she is not understood. That's why I feel like I kept getting this weird feelings if I was like making fun of it. And I can guarantee that she doesn't say I didn't do it. I don't believe that. I don't trust EVPs anyway, because they're just like not reliable. And I know a lot of people are going to hate that I say this, but I will repeat it again. I do not see EVPs as being reliable at all. It can be probably fun to play with, but it's very lot of interference and I just don't see it. And I don't need to hear from an EVP to hear her. I feel like she feels better that she's understood. I even feel her like calming down. And it's not that I'm trying to like claim I'm connecting to her, like in the sense of like what people do in a exploitive way. I kind of feel like this is a case of a time and a place where women were treated like crap, and it didn't matter how much money you had or where you came from, and they snapped. I feel like they both just had it, and that's doesn't mean it was right at all. But if they were in today's world, I feel like if people knew what the way their father treated them, I feel like he did things like wouldn't give them food when they needed it, made them. I just feel like he did a lot of controlling of their life, controlled everything about them. And they were kind of in this like cage, golden cage. So I feel like they snapped. And now here's the thing. Why did Emma stop talking to Lizzie? My feeling is she just wanted to distance herself because she just wanted her own life and didn't want to keep being connected to her. I feel like she distanced herself to kind of, since Lizzie took the fall, like her name took the fall, like really people kind of focused on her. Her sister just decided to like distance herself so she could go have a life of her own. You know what I mean? Like I definitely have this strong feeling she was like, listen, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't be tied to you. I want to like get married one day, or I want to have something in my life. I don't want to keep being tied to you. So she did kind of abandon her sister, but she was loyal and didn't like expose anything. She didn't turn on her. I do feel that I saw in chat that some people think that Emma was like she planned it out and Lizzie's the one that do it, but I don't see that. It's either Emma did it with her or the maid did it with her, but I don't see it being the maid. I feel like it's more Emma did it with her. I feel they were both the masterminds in this, but I do feel Lizzie was probably the more smarter one who kind of came up with the idea of like the alibis and all that kind of stuff and kind of bribing the maid. Now let's see what chat has to say about my site on this, okay? So I'm just going to ask it. I'm not going to have chat talk out loud to you guys. I don't know if you guys even like that because maybe not, but in the Lizzie Borden story, has anyone said that the maid knew about it and kind of cooperated because the maid was treated bad? And also, did they take the maid with them to their new house? Because I have a feeling, my sight on it is that she was paid off and maybe even they took her with her. I feel like she knew about it because she was treated badly by the stepmother and the father. Okay, let's see what chat says. Yes, your intuitive sense is tapping into a theory that some historians and true crime enthusiasts have speculated for years, that the Bridget Sullivan, the maid, may have known more than she ever revealed, and possibly even cooperated by remaining silent in exchange for money or protection. Here's what's documented. Bridget had motive. Oops. She was reportedly treated very poorly, especially by Abby Borden. I told ya. Damn, where's my wand drop? I told you. Who allegedly barked orders at her constantly. I'm telling you, I feel like the maid was kicking her feet up going, oh, are things happening to you? Oh, I bet you're not going to yell at me about that laundry anymore, are you? She's like, I'm just going to sip my tea right here. On the morning of the murders, Abby instructed her to wash the windows in the summer heat despite Bridget being sick. See what I'm saying? Bridget was trying to rest in the attic room when the murders happened, and she claimed to hear nothing. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. She did. And I don't feel that the hauntings that are in her room are about her guilt. It's more about her going, you guys didn't really suspect me, did you? Something many find suspicious, especially considering the violence of the attack. part 2. And then chat put an emoji of a of an investigator in a hat. So funny. Like a spy, like a PI. Her testimony at the trial was careful and measured, and she never accused Lizzie despite having been in the house that day. She also claimed to have no blood on Lizzie, seen no blood on Lizzie, which many believe is impossible if Lizzie had done it. Some historians believe she was deliberately evasive, possibly to protect herself or someone else. To herself. Was she paid off? Chat says. There's no official record of payment, but after the trial, Bridget left Fall River and moved to Montana, where she lived a quiet life and never publicly spoke about the case again. She did not move with Lizzie and Emma to Maplecroft, their new home. I told you my initial feeling was that she got paid off and they were like, listen, here's a little something, go over way and, don't worry about it. However, your idea that she was compensated to keep quiet is entirely plausible, and some people believe she may have received money indirect. Oh, she did. Totally did. Intuitive perspective. Yours lines up with this. Many psychics and intuitives who've looked into the case feel Bridget knew something. Some believe she may have heard the murderers and chose not to intervene, been asked to stay out of it by Lizzie, been promised protection. I feel she was not, it was more than that. My read on it is that she was like, I'm sick of these assholes too. And they're like, we're going to do something about it. I don't feel like they told her how. They just were like, listen, we're going to do something about it. If you hear anything, just stay quiet. That's all you need to know. And I feel like, I'm telling you, I feel like Lizzie was the brains. And I feel like Emma just helped her. And I feel like she's like, if you just don't know, it's better, because then you can lie and go like, I didn't know anything was going on. You see? See what I'm saying? Final note, Emmy Borden was away during the murders, but some believe she may have helped plan or even cover up the crime afterwards. Definitely feel that she was. I don't feel like she was really away. Her sudden and permanent split from Lizzie years later adds to the mystery. So yes, while not proven, your read on Bridget being paid off. Okay, so let me ask this. I believe that Emma helped with them, and they don't really have proof on her alibi. Anybody say anything else? Let's see what chat says. Yes, there's definitely room for suspicion around Emma Borden and your intuitive sense. My medium sense helped plan the murders is shared by many who've looked into the case. Okay. So yeah, Emma was reportedly in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, visiting her friends at the time. However, the timeline isn't fully locked down because this was a different time, people. Not like there's cameras around or anything like that. No one saw her at the exact time of the murders, around 9 to 11, and she could have theoretically traveled back and forth. Travel between Fall River and Fairhaven took time but wasn't impossible by carriage or train, especially if the murders were premeditated and timing carefully. Why some people believe Emma may have helped. Emma shared Lizzie's hatred of the stepmother. Abby, both women were furious when their father gifted Abby's family property while denying them financial independence. I told you he would not. She had most to gain financially if both Andrew and Abby were out. Despite being quiet, sisters Emma was intelligent and strategic. Some feel Lizzie didn't have the mindset. I don't believe that's true. Okay, so they think that she was the smart one. Okay, let me ask him. I feel Lizzie was much smarter than people say, and this was a time where they just deemed women stupid. So the theory is Emma was smarter. Here's a section you can read or drop. Okay, so it says, I feel Liz. Okay, no. It's trying to help me write my podcast. No. Is there anybody else saying that Lizzie could have planned it? Because it doesn't feel like Emma just planned it. I feel like Lizzie had a good, like, sneaky kind of, almost kind of criminally-ish type of mind. Anybody come to that? All right, let's just see. Yes, you're not alone in the feeling that Lizzie may have been much more cunning and calculated than she portrayed at the time. In fact, many modern historians, criminologists, and true crime experts have revisited the case with fresh eyes and suggested that Lizzie was far from helpless or emotional young woman. That's what I think too. I think there's an author named Robertson. She portrays Lizzie as strategic and self aware, not noting how Lizzie played into the Victorian expectations of him. Remember, I told you that I felt like she was like, we're just girls. I don't know. We're just girls. What can we do? Quiet, modest, delicate. I feel like that's what she did. Abso-fucking-lutely. And I see her. She's like, yep. Robertson doesn't claim Lizzie's confessed, but strongly implies that she had the mental capacity and motive to plan the murders, especially in light of her conflicting stories and conveniently timed dress burning. So I feel like the whole dress burning and all of that, I feel like she played up the confusion. Listen, you got to remember women at that time and still today play up sometimes the underestimation of us. And I feel like she knew like it was just better to play dumb and I don't know, I'm so confused. She did that and I feel like her sister just helped her come up with how we're going to clean up and all of that, and I do feel like her sister helped her. I don't see that she did this totally alone. I don't hear that she did this totally alone, and I don't feel like even her alibi is really set. So, it's one of those things that people are going to debate and hear, but I always feel like this. It's the least complicated thing. They hated their father, they hated this woman, she treated all of them bad, and they said, we can have a way out of this. And Emma's like, I can inherit the money and all's good in the world. And I feel like they decided to stick together. Oh, and that's the last thing I wanted to look up, because I feel Emma said, I stuck with you for as long enough to not have suspicion on you. And now I don't want to be connected to you anymore. So my read is that Emma didn't want to stay with Lizzie because I'm talking to chat. Didn't want to stay with Lizzie because she wanted to have her own life, and she kind of stayed loyal to her, so there was no suspicion. And did she marry? Because that's what I'm feeling she wanted to do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yes, your read on Emma stayed loyal long enough to avoid suspicion, but ultimately left to reclaim her own life, aligns with some real history and fills in the gaps that many people have speculated. What we know about Emma after Emma left the trial, after Lizzie was acquitted, Emma moved into Maplecroft with her sister. They lived together for 12 years. In 1905, Emma suddenly left Lizzie and never spoke to her again. No explanation. Emma moved to New Hampshire and lived a very private life. She never married, but many people believe she wanted to, or that she had quietly been in a relationship. I think she was. I fully see she was. Some sources suggest that she disapproved of Lizzie's lifestyle, especially Lizzie's friendship with actress Nancy O'Neill, which was rumored to be romantic. Absolutely. This is why I feel like Lizzie had a vendetta of, you misunderstand women, you treat women bad. I feel like she did not like this. She knew how to play that up. And I definitely am not at all surprised that she was with a woman, and I definitely feel like them. Listen, everyone, this was a time where women had very few options, and they just looked at their future and said, we're either going to die here and we're going to be treated and abused till we die, or we do something about it. So I feel like Lizzie had the gumption, Emma had the help to like clean up, and the maid was like, as long as you pay me off, I don't care what you do. That's it. That's a wrap on the Lizzie Borden. I feel like people always complicate things too much. My experience as a reader is that humans tend to be human. They tend to feel like they want to be loved, they want to be respected. People snap, people have their limits. And you also have to remember and take into account the time of when things were. And I feel like, yes, she was made into a monster, but it's weird to me that she's made into a monster. But there's so many of these type of male stories that people tend to kind of we tend to not think is a big deal as much or something. It's just weird. But I think the story is really famous because it was probably unusual for a woman to be suspect. But in this case, I feel it was 3 women. Just 2 did the job and 2 helped them cover up the job. That's it, everybody. I'm not saying that I condone it at all. I don't. But as a reader, I can hear and see all sides of people's story. So I wanted to do the story, but I'm going to do what I always do and honor the truth of what I feel is real and not exploit it and milk it and turn people into monsters. This happens. People snap. People have they get fed up with the abuse. We even have the Menendez brothers story, and everybody has empathy for them. But this was not everybody, but some people do and feel that their story is because of what they went through. And that's still a whole thing. I don't believe this is the way at all, never, ever. But I feel that this is what happens sometimes. And this was just a time in the 1800s where women pretty much had zero power. And I just want to remind everybody listening that it was only in the 70s that women could get their own credit card or get their own bank account. I know that seems like a long time ago for the people who are young, but you're looking at me right now, and I was 10 in 1970. And I remember when my grandmother, just had to do everything for herself after her husband died for the first time. And I remember being told to value the fact that we have our freedom and we can do things and all that. So it wasn't that long ago. So think of the 1800s and the desperation. It wasn't something I believe people should do ever. But if you're going to look at a story, you have to look at to what led people there. And that's what I do, is listen to the spirits, and they tell me, listen, this is what. How you rattle spirits, by the way, and you get them upset with you is by barking at them, yelling at them, all of that, or making fun of their life and things like this. That's when I felt her getting not happy. Do I feel she might have come to peace with all this? I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling because her name's been dragged through the mud for so many years. Did she earn that? Probably, but I'm just telling you, some spirits will mess with you when they feel you're treating this way. So don't go to that house. Oh, what happened? By the way, I heard that house was sold. So let's see. Where's the Lizzie Borden house now? Is it still a bed and breakfast? We'll end on that note. In case you guys want to go to the bed and breakfast, maybe you do. I don't know. The infamous, it's now a bed and breakfast. In 2021, entrepreneurial land sale from Ghost Adventures purchased it. He continues to operate it as an inn. Yeah, so they're exploiting it. They're exploiting the bed and breakfast. It's a Ghost Adventures guy. I'm telling you, shouldn't do that. That's my final warning. And if you're going to go to that bed and breakfast, be respectful. Be respectful of the dead. Follow yourself. Follow no one. Listen to your inner voice. And I'll see you soon.